morning, everybody, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. It has felt like an eternity since we've last been together here. It has not, actually. It's only been a week I did Board Game Breakfast, a week and a day. But we're kind of, sort of back on schedule. So there's a lot of different things that are happening here. We just got back from Gen Con, went to Gen Con from the Dice Tower Retreat. We have Autumn Spectacular happening 2 weeks from yesterday. So that is a busy time of year. And also, there's that thing called Christmas, which rears its ugly head, going, ha, ha, ha. I'm coming. And we're like, yeah. All right, so there's a lot of stuff going on. I've got emails from people saying, where's Week in Review? What's going on? So have no fear. We're back on schedule. Week in Review will start this coming Monday. Board Game Breakfast will move back to its normal time. Even this week, we got some stuff. I'll talk about that in a bit. But there are things going on. And first of all, a contest from Pandasaurus Games, and for this game you can see behind me here, Dinosaur World. Now, Dinosaur World was at Gen Con, hotly selling all over the place, and in fact, we're playing it here in 58 minutes. Me, Z, and Mike will be playing a 3-player game of Dinosaur World to show you how it works. So as we get ready for that, you have a chance to win the game. All you have to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word scientists. Try to spell it right. I always spell scientists wrong. I don't know why. It reminded me, my daughter wrote "school sucks" out in front of our in chalk on the pavement. A very big thing. It said "school sucks," and she spelled "school" wrong. And then she pointed an arrow and said, "I meant school." And I was like, if you can't even spell school correctly, there is the need for it. And I will keep a picture of this for the rest of our lives, reminding this at her when she gets married someday. Oh, sorry. We're talking about Dinosaur World. Subject scientists, and you need to answer the question in the body: how many colors of dinosaur meeples were included in Dino World? Now, if you remember, Dinosaur Island had one color. It was pink. There's no pink dinosaurs in this game. Is there more than one? Well, check out the game and find out.
Bundle USA only.
Yes, it's one bundle here, of Dinosaur World, and all its expansions, and this is only for those in the USA, due to licensing restrictions, etc. So, that's our contest. We're about to get started here with some contributors, but before we do that, I am going to be a grandfather. That's exciting. I'm old! All right, let's move on.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University and the Dice Tower. Today, I'm going to ask your opinion and also share what we like, the type of game that we like. Is the mass playing game?
The massive multiplayer roll and write.
So we know as welcome to and cartographers, and there's one more welcome to Dino World, which is somewhere in our shelves.
Yep. I think track 12 is as well. I think
is
it's I forget what it says on the box, but it's essentially any bingo style roll and write where there is no interaction. Maybe there's a race to some objectives, but there's no direct interaction on any given roll between players. It's the common cards are drawn or dice are rolled, and then everyone plays those as best they can.
I do want to know more of these games because at convention, for example, we might want to host it, or we can live stream games like this. Everyone can enjoy playing at home. We're in lockdown still at the moment, so this is helpful to host something like this. If you know anything, or if you're designing, please let us know in the comments, perhaps, because yeah, this game will play good solo. Yeah, as good as solo at 100.
Yeah. Boggle's another one.
Oh, is it?
Because you can have as many people around them, and of course that's an old game. That's a word making game.
Well, almost like Codenames. Codenames has got limits, I guess.
Well, that's true. It's a different style.
Different style, yeah. I know. Or let us know anyway. We just want to share that we really like this kind of game, and let us know if there are more. And again, we are on Meeple University and the Dice Tower. See you next time.
What's going on, my friends?
Sup?
I'm Rolando, the board dad, and this is...
Redford.
That's it? Just Redford?
Yeah, all superstars have only one name.
Oh, you mean like Beyonce?
I don't know who that is.
Today, we want to show you Funfair from Good Games Publishing.
This game better not be bad, Chief.
Well, that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
Why?
This is a card drafting theme park builder.
Theme park? Are there dinosaurs, cowboys, and ninjas?
No, but there are pirates, robots, and fairy tales.
Oh.
In Funfair, players will draft cards from the market into their hand in order to build a mix of attractions and facilities and staff. Play your cards right, and you can upgrade your rides and build super attractions, all in an effort to attract the most guests, which will score you points. The player with the most points in 6 rounds wins.
Can I swoop in and break your rides?
No, you can't swoop in and break my rides.
Oh, can I steal your staff?
No, you can't steal my staff either.
Well, that's unfair.
Exactly.
Oh.
So, plot twist here, you get a 2-for-1 look.
Well, I love a good bargain.
I gotta say, I enjoy both, but Funfair has no negative player interaction. It plays in less time and streamlines some of the things in Unfair.
Chief, I bet it doesn't have a cool first player marker.
I bet it does.
Oh, that's so unfair.
Yes, but it's also Funfair. So what do you say we wrap this up before we run out of puns?
Where are the hot dogs?
I said puns, not buns.
Sure you did.
If you'd like to see more of us,
You mean more of me?
right, check us out on our YouTube and Instagram at The Board Dad. And that's all we got. We'll see you.
In the next one. A little slow there, Chief.
That's unfair.
Thought we were done with the puns.
All right, so what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? I already mentioned that in 52 minutes, we're playing Dinosaur World live. Now, we've made a bunch of other changes just because of we flew in from Indianapolis yesterday. I just unboxed like 100 games. We have more games unboxed. We got games coming out our ears. We also dragged the whole library back in from Dice Tower Retreat. This studio's a mess. It's a mess, I tell you. Also, we have Autumn Spectacular. I say all that so here's some changes we're making this week from our normally scheduled programming. There will not be 5 more great games. That will return next week for a week. And then there will be crowd surfing. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. And there will be Shoots and Marbles is back, baby! But not today. Shoots and Marbles will be back on Friday. Friday morning we'll be jumping into Shoots and Marbles. So if you've never had a chance to see it before, it's the greatest marble racing in board game channels. So come check that out with a new twist, as always. So that's happening on Friday at 10 a.m. We also, on Thursday, is Board Game Breakfast. And there might be some other live stuff throughout the week. I'm not promising that. What else might there be? Well, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We got a bunch of contributors that we're going to be putting their stuff up, and we'll be posting videos. The most boring unboxing in the world is going up today, and it's a fairly lengthy one compared to normal, showing off all the new Gen Con stuff. We're planning on doing a 4-way review, the 4 Squares review of World of Warcraft, the pandemic game. So hopefully, I think it's World of Warcraft, a pandemic game. Anyway. Wrath of the Lich King. Yes, also, a new podcast episode dropped this morning. So there's lots of stuff happening this week. So let's keep going.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks from Board Game Opinions, and in this series of segments I'm giving you tips on how to teach a board game. And this week's tip is be expressive. Now, there are lots of different ways in which you can do that. A great way to start off doing that is to modulate your voice. So try not to speak in a monotone voice throughout your explanation.
Hello, and today we're going to learn how to play Istanbul. It's a game about trading in the marketplace to get rubies. Hello, and today we're going to play Istanbul. It's a game about getting rubies. Can you see all the rubies?
Yes, I can see the rubies. But it is more than that. If you watch a teacher entering a classroom, then the good ones will command the attention of the class from the moment they walk into the classroom. Whereas the bad teachers will kind of slink into the classroom, maybe write something on the board, mumble something, and people will carry on talking and ignore them generally. You really do need to grab people's attention in order to be able to convey the information you want them to take on board. Now, if you've been used to sitting explaining your games to a group of people who just sit there quietly and listen, then you've probably had no incentive to develop those attention-grabbing skills. You probably don't need to be dynamic and engaging. But it makes a big difference. Even if they're very polite and they sit there quietly, if you can engage them, it will help them take on board what you want to learn, and ultimately it means it's going to be a smoother gaming experience because there won't be so many rules questions, people won't be confused like, what am I doing? How does this work? If they followed what you said because you grabbed their attention at the start, then everything will go much more smoothly. Alright, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hello everyone, it is I, Clara, and I'm back talking about digital versus physical board games, and today is a board game that I absolutely love my physical copy of, but boy do I wish there was a digital version, and I will explain why. The game in question is Star Wars Rebellion. Oh, this is such a great, fantastic game. It is basically the original trilogy in a box in terms of the bigger, grander galactic scale. One side is playing the Empire and they're trying to go through by planet to find the rebels. The rebels, meanwhile, are trying to sabotage the Empire. They're trying to blow up a Death Star and they're basically maybe having to move planets to escape. On top of this big old game of cat and mouse, you've also got dice rolling, card play, and also you've got really beautiful miniatures. It's got these really cute little AT-AT miniatures, and there's loads of them, and little baby X-Wings. It's glorious. This game should be in my top 10, but it's not because it's a 2-player, 4-hour game. I think it deserves 4 hours, but I can't get it to the table. I can't get anyone to play it with me. Certainly can't just take it to a casual game night, right? Plus it takes up a massive amount of table space if I did manage to play it with someone in, a game night. I'm not getting it to the table. So I really wish there was a digital version. As much as I love the physical version, a digital version would be great because at least I'd be able to play it. Now, do I think that'll happen? Fantasy Flight owned by Asmodee. Asmodee also own Board Game Arena, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like the Fantasy Flight games are coming to Board Game Arena. But yes, it would be difficult. It's such a big board. It would be small, but I'd rather play the physical version, but I'd rather be able to play the game than not play it. So please, Asmodee, let's bring Star Wars Rebellion to the table. And until next time, take care and bye-bye.
When I was a kid, my dad was a big sports fan. Well, he still is a sports fan, I suppose. Maybe not as much. He got me into liking baseball. My dad liked baseball a lot. But, I see these TVs and movies all the time where, like, the kid's most dire wish is to throw a ball with his father, where you throw catch back and forth. And my father played catch with me a few times, but it didn't happen a lot. And it's not because my dad was a bad father. It's because I didn't want to do it. I never really understood the excitement about throwing a ball back and forth. I still don't understand the excitement about it. But hey, if you like it, you like it. But it wasn't something I was really interested in. I was never really big into sports other than I like street hockey a lot. But other than that, I just wasn't really big into sports. And my father had me do sports often, or at times I had to do it because it's a healthy thing to do. But he never really pushed it upon me. And now that I'm an adult, I almost never play sports. I don't watch sports very much. I certainly understand that people do like it. It's one of the biggest things on earth. And I talk about this because I want to answer an email that I got, and I'm leaving this anonymous. I'm not here to criticize the email, but the email said, you've recently been having a big reaction to people that ask questions about playing games with their children, including mine, this person said. I have to say, as someone who has had you say it doesn't matter if your kids play games after asking a question, it doesn't feel great to get that answer. You have to understand that people are not asking you these questions because that is all they do with their kids. They're asking you because that you have a show about board games where you ask people to send in questions. If I listened to a podcast about pro wrestling that was about asking questions, I might ask about my son watching wrestling with me, and I don't expect him to think that all I do is about my son watching wrestling. Your assumption that the people asking these questions don't do anything else with their kids is crazy. I can imagine that after hearing the same questions over and over, that you develop strong thoughts about certain topics, but please keep in mind that everyone else knows how to do other things with their kids too. We're not out here forcing our kids to play games. I understand that But I do have a very strong reaction about it, and it's not because I hear the question over and over. It's because it's the same thing. As a geek, we have a strong, if you're a geek like me, there's a strong reaction to dad saying, son, you're going to go to this college and play football there just like your old man. I know this because it's a trope in movies. And it's a trope in movies because there is some truth to it. You know, like, hey, son, you'll take over the family business. Hey, daughter, you'll like this because I've always liked it. And that's not necessarily the case. Now, should you try to get your kids to play some games with you? Yes, I think games is I preach this all the time. Games is a great family activity. Play games with your kids. Get them to play games. But you know what? They still might hate it or not like it that much. I've used the example many times of one of my daughters, a daughter who I have a fantastic relationship with. She doesn't really care for board games. She'll play them occasionally. In fact, now that she's out of the house, she emails me every time she plays it with somebody else. But, you know, it's just not her jam. So when people email me and say, how can I get my kids into playing games? I don't know that you can get someone into a hobby. If you were trying, I would say, well, you need to be super enthusiastic about it yourself. Never force it upon them, because if you force someone to do something, that's almost a surefire way to get them to not like it, and have pretty much no expectations other than that. Sure, again, negotiation skills, working well with others, learning how to be a good sport. If I had a young kid, I would play games with them. But you don't need me to tell you you should play games with your kids. It's something that if you're a gamer, you're already trying to do. I'm going to go find some hobby games to play with young kids. I'll find some other games to play with the kids that are older. When we talk about family games every year, I talk about best family games in the podcast. But there's a few things I'm not a fan of, and I'll always stand fast on these. One is almost this braggart feeling of like, my kid can do this and your kid can't. I don't like that. I never have. You'll never see my stickers talking about how my kid's better than yours. I've seen these sorts of things. I'm not a huge fan of, I do want to brag about my children on occasion, because who doesn't like to talk about their kids? But it doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that I like. I have sat my kids down, all my kids, and I've said to them, I do not care what you like or do not like. I do not care, you know, what you're going to do with your life. Just make me proud of you. I want to see values. I want to see different things in your life. But gaming is not ever part of that conversation. I have some of my kids who like games a lot. My oldest daughter, Melody, loves games, and you've seen Ruby and Violet. They love games, and they've been doing reviews of me, and soon they'll be doing their top 50 games of all time. And I am thrilled about that. But I also am thrilled with the ones who do not love games. I'm also thrilled with them. And so that bragging about kids thing doesn't do it. I also have a feeling a lot of people, and not feeling, I know many people want their kids to play games so that you have your own game group. You want them to play games so that you have someone to play games with. That's not a bad thing, you know, to want to enjoy an activity with your children. You just need to be prepared that maybe it's not something they're as interested in. You can do that. I threw a ball with my dad because it made him happy. And I did that. I'll go to a sports game with my dad because we both will enjoy it a little bit. I'll enjoy it even more because I'm with my dad. But you know what? I'm never going to be a huge sports fan. It's just the way it is. There's other things that my dad likes. He liked bird watching. I hated bird watching. He really tried to get us into bird watching. He bought us books, Audubon books, and we looked at them, and we went to a park and looked at birds, and we kept journals, and he got us to do all that. And at the end of the day, I still hated it. Like, I hate it now. Don't get me wrong, birds are beautiful, yada, yada, yada. But to walk around and look for birds, man, there's like 7,000, 100 billion things I'd rather do than that. That's a real number. But he never really pushed it on us. He tried to get us into it, and we didn't. So that's why I say that all the time. Because I think you might set yourself up for disappointment if you say, kids, you will love games like me, and then they don't. I have 7 children, and soon to be 1 grandchild. Not soon, it's like May anyway. But I have 7 children, and they all are completely different. It's mind-boggling to me how different each one of my children are. Some of them like things. If I had had only one, and that one child didn't like board games, would my life change? It would not. I would find something to have in common with them. My daughters love anime, so I try to find that in common with them. You know, they like reading graphic novels. I do like reading graphic novels, so we can enjoy that together. There's things that you can find in common. So when someone asks me the question, how can I get my kids into gaming? I don't think that's the only thing you're trying to get your kids to do. I hope not. You know, I think just doing one thing your whole life is not very healthy. There's plenty of other things that you can do. But I do talk about this because I think it can be a problem. It's like the reverse, you know, the jocks laughing at the nerds. I don't want the reverse of that happening. I think it's very important that we allow our kids to follow their dreams. We want them to be diverse and know a lot of things. My kids should play games because there's a lot of good that can come from it, and it's part of a wider thing that they can do. But I don't have top 10 tips, and I never will, on how to get your kid into gaming because I don't feel like it's necessary. Just like I don't think you should try to get your kids into football. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. So anyway, that's my thoughts for today. Let's keep going.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm here to talk about a game that plays well on a weeknight. And this is Dragon Realm. This is a game from GameRight. Came out a couple years ago, and I don't think it got a whole lot of buzz, but my friends and I really enjoy it. This is a kind of a set collection game in which you're going to roll some dice. And so in it, you're going to draft cards from the table, kind of Ticket to Ride style, and then you're going to create runs and sets of cards in your hand. You're going to and on your turn, you can play those cards down. Depending on the number of cards that you play, say you have a set of 4, you put those down, you get to roll 4 dice. And then you're trying to reach an objective on one of these location cards, and when you meet that threshold, then you get to put people on those locations, and you do an area majority type thing to score some points at those locations. Now, on a weeknight, area majority games usually play well with more players, not usually 2 players. This one has a built-in mechanism with these goblins. So as the cards are coming out, you're going to flip over cards just mixed into the deck, and goblins are going to fill up these spaces as well. And so you're not, no matter how many players you're playing with, these goblins are still popping up. So even with 2 players, you're still having these kind of a third dummy player popping up, but it feels really smooth. It doesn't feel like you're playing with an AI or a dummy player, which I think is really cool. This one plays really smoothly. It plays in about 20 minutes. It doesn't take a whole lot of kind of mental taxing to get through it. It feels kind of like a hodgepodge of mechanisms, but they all come together really well. And I like the set collection. I like the dice rolling. It gives a little tension there, a little randomness with your strategy, which I always enjoy. So that's Dragon Realm. Check it out if this one sounds cool. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
Katrina's father had laid stones of his kingdom through his young years, when he was a seafarer and landed on the fertile lands of Catan with his clan. It was a miracle for the whole country when Katrina was born. King was split in happiness as the queen, her only companion, died during the birth of Katrina. He started losing interest in everything and remained locked most of the time. Catan started on a path of decline. Everyone had started looking towards Katrina as she would reach maturity and pick up the crown from her father. But what she realized was how soon she would have to rise up to that mantle. In this time of difficulty, the 4 noble houses of Catan came to support the kingdom, each having selfish motives as well, looking at the chance of becoming the new ruler of Catan and getting the hands of the Princess Katrina. Assalamu alaikum. Many gamers may think that gamers outgrow Catan, but not me. And if you want to add more longevity to this game, then get Catan the Settler's Legacy. It's not a legacy, but it is a campaign book which adds an overarching story to Catan over 10 missions in which you will be setting up, well, the land of Catan. There are 4 families which are trying to convince the princess to do things in different ways. So there will be choice points in each of these missions where you are going to get a little bit different mode of playing or rewards based on the choices or voting that everyone gets to make. The winner of the previous game becomes the prime minister for the next game, which has the tiebreaker vote. And things like that will add a little bit variety to each of the campaign games. So if you're looking for some scenarios for Catan, look no further, get it from the link below. Happy gaming!
Hey folks, just a quick kind of update here on Gen Con. Now we have some videos from Gen Con that will be posted at some point in the future. But I just wanted to give you some thoughts on it. I went into this year's Gen Con not knowing what it was going to be like, and I gotta be honest, I went into it with the lowest of expectations. I wasn't expecting to have a good time much at all and just kind of get through it. I felt like we needed to limp through half Gen Con to eventually get to the full Gen Con experience. But that being said, I had possibly one of the best Gen Con experiences of my life. It was fantastic. Now, part of that is the fact that we haven't had a Gen Con for 2 years. So everybody was just enthusiastic about being back. The levels of just happiness and joy were off the charts. That was by far, I mean, everybody who came by the booth. I mean, that's not like people come by the booth and throw tomatoes anyway in a normal Gen Con year, but there was just, everyone was so enthusiastic. Gen Con had we got to talk that they had a mask policy in place where you had to wear a mask pretty much everywhere. They had a couple areas where you could take a mask break. Like there was an exhibitor area where there was like some scattered tables you could sit without a mask on, and that was very nice. It was nice to take your mask off once in a while. But I won't say everyone, but like the vast majority of people were wearing masks. Everyone had a good time. I was worried people were going to be flaunting the rules and be big arguments, and I didn't see any of that. The crowds. There was a lot more people there than I had anticipated. Now, the exhibitor hall was much smaller than normal, maybe 60% of the size or less. And so maybe, it felt a little crowded comparatively, but if it had been bigger, maybe it would have felt looser. But there was a lot of people there, but it never felt overcrowded. I'd be able to walk from one end of the hall to the other. But people came ready to buy. The vast majority of the publishers I talked to sold not only well, but some of them broke records, never having sold so much stuff. Because there wasn't as many publishers there, there was still a ton of games. I mean, we brought back like 50 ourselves, new games, and just people were just looking for things to play and just playing games everywhere, demoing games, and just had a fantastic time. I really enjoyed the entire experience. We did a live top 10 there, which we might try to put up on our channel here at some point. I wasn't planning to, but it was recorded by Gen Con, so we might see if we can get that for you all. But that was a lot of fun. We were able to spend time with our friends who were there. Yes, there were many publishers missing, but I gotta say, I didn't notice that much. I mean, obviously, it's hard not to notice that Asmodee wasn't there, or Simon wasn't there, but there was enough publishers there, enough things to see and do. I spent the whole time just having fun. And we came back, we're definitely very tired, definitely a lot of stuff going on, but overall, 10 out of 10, we'll do it again. So we'll see how this affects Origins, which is happening in 2 weeks, and Essen, which is happening in a month. Will this affect those cons? Will those cons be as good? I cannot speak to that, and as fortunately as a Dice Tower, we won't be at those cons, but we did go to Gen Con, and we had a fantastic time. So that's what I think.
Hello everyone, today I'm here to talk to you about Roll Player. This is a game, a rolling dice-based game themed all around creating a D&D character. It's got a lot of maths. Every single turn in Roll Player, you are taking a dice and adding it somewhere, and you're trying to get certain numbers because that's going to get you points. So, for instance, you might want your strength to be between 16 and 17, and you'll get 3 stars, 3 reputation stars for that. Maybe your charisma, it just needs to be 14 plus. So you're using that, you're then triggering abilities such as flipping dice over, swapping dice, and stuff like that. And it does mean a lot of this game is looking at numbers, calculating numbers, thinking if I swap that, what number is that going to be, trying to trigger as many points as possible. Does it make a sort of a D&D character at the end? No, not really. But it's certainly got that theming with the backstory and alignment and stuff like that. It does give meaning to, you know, I'm trying to make this stat really good. That one doesn't matter as much for my character. And then you've got the race stuff of, you know, this race it isn't as good at charisma or strength or constitution or something, so it's got that negative. And you've got to work with that to create your character. Speaking to a couple of other people like Clara and Andy from Board Game Breakfast, well, it sounds like the expansion only improves the game. I think I'll play it a couple more times, but I might have to get that then. Anyway, that is Role Player, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Brandy and Ellen, we game together.
Can we play now?
Hi guys, I'm Ellen.
And I am Randy.
And we are continuing on with gaming related. And last week we talked about small conventions. So how approps would it be that this week we're talking about big conventions? What's your favorite? We've been to a decent amount of conventions.
So I like the bigger conventions. Okay. And I mean, okay, scratch that. I like them all.
Yeah.
I like them all for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
The mega conventions, you know, like Gen Con, we haven't been to Essen, but, you know, those super big ones. Don't know a ton about how Essen works because I haven't physically been there. But Gen Con, very much a buying thing, but there still is plenty of space to game.
Yeah.
All the hotel lobbies are, like, filled with gamers.
Oh, I love
There's
that.
extra, like buildings that people, like, almost rent and things like that, or sometimes it's part of the actual convention, and people are gaming all in there. Plenty of gaming going on. But it's more of a vendor kind of buying.
Definitely. I've noticed the huge difference that I notice is when you go to a smaller convention, you go into like the hotel lobby or wherever conference room, I guess is what they call it. And it's very intimate. People are gaming. That's what you see. And when you go to these bigger ones, that's when people start to bring like their stuff to sell, and you get designers showing up, and you can book, you know,
demos from the publishers.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Demos, yes. So it starts turning into like games and other stuff when you start going to the bigger ones.
Yep.
I like it.
Now, my favorite size really is like the PAX U and like Origins type sizes. I think it's kind of that real great balance of a good amount of vendors, plenty of, you know, sometimes there's a lot of new, you know, there'll be a few new games usually because that's just of how it happens throughout the year. Plus, there's plenty of gaming space. My favorite part is meeting new people, hanging out with people, seeing people I haven't seen forever. And that size is usually kind of like the perfect one for that, you know. Really draws a lot of people that you haven't seen for a while. That's easily my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's probably mine too. I did not go to Origins with you, but I did go to PAX U, and it was that medium-ish, big-ish size, and it was fantastic. Yeah. What is your favorite size convention? Small, medium, or large?
Medium's the best of both worlds. Pick that one. All right, guys, we will see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Clearly, they recorded that before the Dice Tower retreat. Let's see what they say after that. All right. Well, folks, that's it. We'll be back here in 26 minutes with Dinosaur World. Come join me, Z, and Mike as we learn to play this game. Hopefully it's fantastic. It looks great. Sitting here, it's taking up the entire table. My elbow's in the one empty spot on this table. We have a contest for this game at the very beginning of the episode, so go back and see that. And we got more stuff coming your way this week. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. See you next time.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.